Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about the invisible enemy that steals your confidence, your peace, your progress, and your future. Negative thinking. It's not loud, it doesn't shout, it whispers, it sneaks into your mind when you're tired, alone, or uncertain. And if you don't control it, it becomes the author of your life story. But here's the truth. Your mind is the most powerful weapon you have, and if you don't learn to master it, it will master you. Life doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't pause for your fear, your doubt, or your hesitation. Every second that passes is either building you or breaking you. And the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not talent, not luck, not opportunity, it's mindset. There comes a time in your life when you must look in the mirror and decide, am I going to let my emotions control me, or am I going to control my destiny? Am I going to keep living in excuses, or am I going to break through everything that has held me back? Every champion you admire, every success story you hear, every great person history remembers, they all began with one decision: the decision to stop being a prisoner of their own mind. So today I want you to sit up, breathe deep, and understand this. You are one thought away from a different life, one decision away from a different future, one moment away from rewriting your entire story. This is that moment. Break the prison of your mind. Your mind is the most powerful force you will ever control, or the most dangerous cage you will ever live inside. And the truth is, most people are not trapped by circumstances, not trapped by lack of opportunities, not trapped by their past. They are trapped by their thinking. They are prisoners of the very thoughts that should be setting them free. Today, I want you to understand something that can change the entire trajectory of your life. Nothing in your world changes until your mind changes first. Every belief you hold, every fear you carry, every excuse you repeat, it all begins in the invisible battlefield of your mind. The people who rise in life, the ones who break limits, the ones who survive storms, walk through fire, and still come out stronger, they are not superhuman. They simply decided that their mind would not be their enemy. They decided to command their thoughts instead of obeying them. They decided to break the prison long before they broke through life. Negative thinking is not harmless. It is destructive. It is poisonous. It is silent enough to go unnoticed, but powerful enough to shape your whole life. It shows up as self-doubt, insecurity, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of trying again. It whispers lies like, yo, you're not ready, you're not enough, you'll never make it, and you accept them because they sound familiar, but familiar doesn't mean true, comfort doesn't mean right, and fear doesn't mean impossible. What you accept becomes what you live, and if you keep accepting negative thoughts, you will keep living a negative life. The world will give you challenges, life will give you setbacks, but the most dangerous battles are never the ones outside, they are always the ones inside. You will not lose because you failed, you will not lose because someone else succeeded. You lose the moment you let your thoughts convince you that you cannot rise again. You lose the moment you let your emotions overpower your discipline. You lose the moment you allow negativity to become your default setting. But what happens when you flip the script? What happens when you stop feeding doubt and start feeding belief? What happens when you say, I will not let these thoughts lead my life anymore? That is the moment your entire reality shifts. Master your mind, and suddenly obstacles become training, setbacks become lessons, failure becomes fuel, rejection becomes redirection, criticism becomes clarity, because a disciplined mind does not fall apart under pressure. It becomes sharper, stronger, more focused. You must understand, your mind listens to everything you say. When you tell yourself, I can't, your mind believes you and shuts doors. When you tell yourself, it's too hard, your mind slows your progress. When you say, I'm not good enough, your mind finds evidence to prove it. But when you speak strength, when you speak possibility, when you speak faith, your mind rises to match that energy. You begin to see solutions where you once saw problems. You begin to feel courage where you once felt fear. You begin to expect greatness where you once expected failure. Negative thinking is not killed by ignoring it, it is killed by challenging it. When that old voice says, you can't, answer it, watch me. When it says, you're weak, answer, I survive things you know nothing about. When it says, you'll fail, answer, failure is a step, not a definition. Over time, the voice that once controlled you becomes the voice you control. That is the power of a trained mind. And understand this, you do not need a perfect life to build a powerful mind. You do not need perfect circumstances to build mental strength. Strength is built in struggle. Discipline is built in discomfort. Clarity is built in chaos. The mind becomes powerful not because life is easy, but because you refuse to break when life becomes difficult. There will be days you doubt yourself, days you feel stuck, days you feel behind, days when everything feels heavy. But the difference between the person who rises and the person who remains broken is simple. The one who rises refuses to let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. The one who rises understands that emotion is a visitor, not a ruler. The one who rises knows that thoughts are suggestions, not commands. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mental diet. Stop consuming negativity. Stop repeating failure stories. Stop surrounding yourself with people who drain your energy. Stop living in memories that hurt your future. Stop believing thoughts that weaken you. You are not meant to live in a cycle of limitation. You are not meant to stay stuck in the same mental patterns. You are meant to grow, to expand, to rise. The world will believe in you the moment you believe in yourself. Opportunities will appear the moment you shift your mindset. Strength will come the moment you stop running from challenges. You cannot control everything in life, but you can always control your thoughts. And when you control your thoughts, you control your actions, your reactions, your habits, your decisions, your future. So today, make a decision. Break the prison, kill the negativity, train your mind, master your thoughts. Do not wait for motivation, build discipline. Do not wait for perfect timing, create it. Do not wait for someone to save you. Save yourself through the power of your mindset. Because the moment you master your mind, you don't just change how you think, you change how you live. You stop surviving life and start shaping it. You stop doubting yourself and start becoming yourself. You stop fearing the future and start creating it. Your mind is your kingdom. Guard it with purpose. Build it with discipline. Strengthen it with belief. Because when your thoughts rise, your life rises with them. Reprogram your mind for greatness. Your life will always follow the direction of your strongest thoughts. You cannot expect success while rehearsing failure in your mind. You cannot expect peace while feeding chaos in your head. And you cannot expect a powerful life while allowing a powerless mindset to lead you. If you want to rise, if you want to transform, if you want to step into the next version of yourself, you must begin with the one thing that shapes your entire reality, your mental programming. From the moment you wake up, your mind begins downloading thoughts. Some are yours, some are influenced by your past, some are shaped by your environment, and some are echoes from people who gave you their fears, not their wisdom. And without realizing it, these thoughts begin making decisions for you. They decide what you attempt, what you avoid, what you accept, and what you walk away from. They become the lens through which you see the world. The question is, who is doing the programming? Your purpose or your fear? Every person who has achieved greatness, every legend whose name echoes through generations, every individual who rose from nothing to something extraordinary, they all understood one thing. You cannot build a new life with an old mindset. You cannot bring your past thinking into your future dreams. You cannot use the language of limitation to create a life of expansion. Change begins with reprogramming the mind, replacing old patterns with new power. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant, it will grow. If you plant doubt, you will harvest insecurity. If you plant excuses, you will harvest inaction. If you plant fear, you will harvest hesitation. But if you plant discipline, you will harvest progress. If you plant belief, you will harvest courage. If you plant clarity, you will harvest purpose. Your thoughts are seeds. Choose them wisely. The most dangerous thing about negative thinking is that it becomes automatic. You don't even notice when it takes over. You don't realize when your brain is running old programming that no longer serves you. That's why you must step in consciously. You must override the script. You must become the author of your mind, not the victim of it. Reprogramming your mind begins with awareness, the ability to recognize the thought that does not belong to the person you want to become. The moment you hear that old voice saying, "I'm not good enough. What if I fail? I don't deserve better," you must stop and question it. You must challenge the thought instead of accepting it as truth. Thoughts are not facts. They are simply suggestions your brain has repeated for years, and anything repeated long enough starts to feel real, even lies. To reprogram your mind, you must replace the old narrative with a new, empowering one. I am capable. I am focused. I am disciplined. I deserve more. I can grow. I will rise. These are not empty affirmations. They are weapons. They are the new codes rewriting the software of your brain. Every time you speak them, you weaken the old programming and strengthen the new. But words are not enough. Reprogramming requires action. You must create habits that reinforce the identity you are stepping into. You must surround yourself with environments that align with your growth. You must consume information that elevates your thinking instead of poisoning it. The content you feed your mind becomes the energy you carry into your life. If you wake up and scroll through negativity, you train your brain to expect negativity. If you surround yourself with people who complain, you train your brain to think like a complainer. If you repeatedly expose yourself to fear, you train your brain to avoid opportunities. If you constantly talk about what's wrong, you train your brain to ignore what's possible. Your environment is programming you even when you're not aware of it. So if you want a different life, create a different environment. Spend time around winners, listen to empowering messages, read books that stretch your mind, watch content that fuels your ambition, not your anxiety. Protect your mental inputs with the same seriousness you protect your body from poison, because negativity is mental poison. Reprogramming your mind also requires patience. The thoughts you're fighting have lived in your head for years. They won't disappear overnight. But every time you challenge them, every time you replace them, every time you act despite them, you weaken them. Your brain forms new neural pathways based on repetition. The more you practice new thinking, the more natural it becomes. The more you practice discipline, the less tempting excuses become. The more you practice courage, the quieter fear becomes. You must understand this. Your mind doesn't respond to who you used to be. It responds to who you decide to become. The moment you define your new identity, the moment you say, I am the kind of person who doesn't quit. I am the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. I am the kind of person who grows daily. Your mind starts obeying that version of you. You start making decisions aligned with your future, not your past. Reprogramming your mind means deleting mental viruses, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of trying, the belief that you're not enough, the belief that it's too late, the belief that your life is fixed and unchangeable. These are lies. They are thoughts, not facts. And once you stop believing them, they lose all their power. The greatest transformation you will ever experience does not begin when your circumstances improve. It begins when your thinking improves. The moment you shift from I can't to I will, your world expands. The moment you shift from I hope to I decide, your confidence rises. The moment you shift from why me to why not me, your mind becomes unstoppable. Your mind is a machine built for greatness, but only if you program it for greatness. Feed it belief, feed it purpose, feed it discipline, feed it courage. Every day, set the mental tone before the world sets it for you. Command your thoughts before they command you. Rise with intention instead of reacting to emotion. Because once you reprogram your mind, once you shift your inner world, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Your actions change, your habits transform, your energy becomes different. You attract new opportunities. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently, and you live differently. Reprogram your mind. Rewrite your story. The life you want begins in the mind you build. Win the war within. Every victory you want in life begins long before you see results. It begins in the invisible arena that nobody sees, the battlefield inside your mind. This is the war that determines your future, your habits, your strength, and your direction. And the truth that many people avoid is simple. You will never conquer the world around you until you conquer the world within you. There are two voices inside you. One pushes you forward, one pulls you back, one fuels your courage, one feeds your fear, one whispers possibility, one screams limitation. Every day, you decide which voice wins. Every day, you choose which voice becomes your identity. The greatest battles are not fought with fists, weapons, or armies. They are fought with thoughts, beliefs, and discipline. And the people who rise to greatness are not the ones with perfect lives, but the ones who master the war within. Your mind can be your best friend or your most destructive enemy. It can push you to heights you never imagined or chain you to a life far below your potential. And most people lose the war within not because they lack talent or opportunity, but because they never learned how to silence the enemy inside their own head. The enemy within shows up as doubt. What if I fail? It shows up as fear. What will people think? It shows up as insecurity. I'm not good enough. It shows up as comparison. Others are ahead of me. It shows up as hesitation, maybe later, maybe tomorrow. These thoughts sound small, but they are not harmless. They are mental landmines that explode when you step toward your dreams. They are chains that keep you stuck in the same place, living the same life, repeating the same patterns. And until you confront them, they will sabotage every attempt you make to grow. Winning the war within begins with awareness, the ability to catch the thought before it becomes a belief. Understand this, a thought is just a spark. But when you repeat it, when you feed it, when you accept it without questioning, it becomes a flame. And that flame slowly burns away your confidence. You must learn to challenge the thoughts that weaken you. When your mind says you can't, respond with, where is the proof? When it says you're not enough, answer with, I'm becoming better every day. When it whispers, people will judge you, remind it, people judge whether I rise or fall, so I may as well rise. You cannot win the war within by letting fear lead you. You win by training your mind to obey your purpose, not your emotions. Emotions are temporary, but discipline is permanent. Fear is loud, but courage grows with action. You may not control the first thought that enters your mind, but you control the next one. And that is where your power lies. Winning the war within also means understanding your triggers. What makes you insecure? What makes you doubt yourself? What makes you shut down? These are not weaknesses. They are information. They reveal where you must apply awareness, discipline, and healing. Most people try to escape their triggers instead of confronting them, but the truth is simple. You cannot outrun the battles inside your head. You must face them. And facing them doesn't mean eliminating fear. It means moving forward despite fear. It means understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear will not control your story. Champions feel fear, they just refuse to obey it. To win the war within, you must also control your environment. Your mind is shaped by what you feed it. If you surround yourself with negativity, your thoughts will become negative. If you spend time with people who complain, your mind will learn to complain. If your environment is filled with distraction, your mind will become unfocused. You cannot win a mental battle while living in a mental battlefield. Choose environments that support your growth. Spend time with people who challenge you to level up. Watch content that elevates your thinking. Protect your attention like it is your life, because it is. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. And where your energy goes, your life grows. Winning the war within also means rewriting your identity. You are not your past. You are not your failures. You are not your mistakes. Those experiences were chapters, not your entire story. Many people stay stuck because they live through the identity of who they used to be. They let old versions of themselves lead new chapters of their life. Your mind takes instructions from your identity. If you tell yourself, I'm lazy, your actions will follow. If you tell yourself, I'm not disciplined, your habits will follow. But when you redefine your identity, I am disciplined, I am resilient, I am becoming stronger, I am capable, and your actions begin to align with that new truth. Remember this, your mind believes the story you tell it. Tell it a story of weakness and you will live weak. Tell it a story of courage and you will live strong. Tell it a story of growth and you will grow. Winning the war within requires consistency. You cannot train your mind once and expect a lifetime of strength. Just like the body, the mind must be exercised daily. It must be fed with intention, challenged with discipline, sharpened with clarity. Some days you will feel unstoppable. Other days you will feel tired, but both days are opportunities to train. And on the days you feel weak, remind yourself, weakness is a signal, not a sentence. It is a sign that you are stepping into new territory. Growth demands discomfort. Transformation demands struggle. The mind learns strength through resistance. Every time you push through a mental barrier, you expand your capacity. You become stronger than your excuses, stronger than your fears, stronger than the old voice that once controlled you. There will be moments when the war within feels overwhelming, when doubt screams louder than your dreams, when fear feels heavier than your courage, when your past feels stronger than your future. But these moments are not signs to quit. They are signs that you are close to a breakthrough. The mind becomes the strongest right before the world becomes the brightest. Winning the war within is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about choosing discipline when you feel lazy, choosing belief when you feel uncertain, choosing courage when you feel afraid. It's about refusing to surrender to temporary emotions. It's about leading your mind instead of being led by it. Because once you win the war within, everything outside you becomes easier. Challenges become manageable. Setbacks become lessons. Opinions become irrelevant. Pressure becomes fuel, and success becomes a natural extension of who you are. Win your inner battles, silence the enemy inside, strengthen the voice that believes in you, because when you master the war within, you master your entire life. Transform your thinking, transform your reality. Your life is always moving in the direction of your thoughts. Whether you rise or remain stuck, whether you grow or stay the same, whether you live with purpose or drift without direction, it all begins with the way you think. Your thinking is the architect of your reality. It designs the world you walk in, the opportunities you pursue, the risks you take, and the limits you accept. If you want to transform your life, you must begin at the root, your thinking. Most people never understand how deeply their thoughts shape their destiny. They believe life is controlled by circumstances, luck, opportunity, or background. But the truth is far more powerful. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. What you repeatedly think, you eventually believe. What you believe, you eventually act on. And what you act on, you eventually become. Every transformation story begins with one moment. One moment where a person decides that the old way of thinking is no longer acceptable. One moment where they realize that if they don't change their thoughts, nothing else will change. You cannot expect a new reality while using the same mental patterns that created your old one. Transformation requires mental renovation. Your thoughts are not just ideas, they are instructions. They tell your mind where to focus, and wherever your mind focuses, your life follows. If you focus on fear, you will live cautiously. If you focus on doubt, you will live small. If you focus on failure, you will hesitate to start. But if you focus on growth, you will evolve. If you focus on gratitude, you will experience abundance. If you focus on solutions, problems will shrink. Transformation begins the moment you shift your mental focus. You must understand that no one is born with negative thinking. It is learned, shaped by your surroundings, your experiences, your environment, and the people who influenced you. But here is the good news. Anything learned can be unlearned. Anything conditioned can be reconditioned. Your thinking is not permanent, it is programmable, and you are the programmer. To transform your thinking, the first step is self-awareness. You must pay attention to your mental patterns. What do you tell yourself when you face challenges? What do you believe about your abilities? What do you expect from your future? Most people repeat old thoughts without questioning them. They run mental scripts that no longer serve them, yet they keep obeying them because they sound familiar. Familiar is not the same as true. Ask yourself, whose voice am I listening to? Whose beliefs have I accepted as my own? Are these thoughts helping me grow or holding me back? Transformation begins when you stop letting old thoughts lead your new life. The second step is removal. You must eliminate the mental patterns that weaken you. Thoughts like, I can't, I'm not ready, I'll never be enough, what if I fail, what will people think? These thoughts are mental weights, and you cannot rise while carrying them. Release them, replace them, challenge them, because every time you silence a limiting belief, you create space for a stronger one to grow. The third step is replacement. New thinking requires intentional rewiring. Speak life into your mind, speak strength, speak growth. Thoughts like, I'm capable, I'm improving, I'm learning, I'm becoming stronger. I'm not defined by my past, I'm shaping my future. These thoughts are not fantasies, they are new instructions. They build new neural pathways. They reshape your emotional patterns. They shift your internal energy, and over time, they reshape your entire life. The fourth step is reinforcement. You must support your new thinking with disciplined action. Thought without action is imagination. Thought with action is transformation. When you feel fear but take the step anyway, you reinforce courage. When you feel tired but stay consistent, you reinforce discipline. When you feel discouraged but keep going, you reinforce resilience. Every small action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Transformation happens in moments of discomfort, when your mind says, stop, and you say, go. When your past tries to pull you back and you push forward. When your emotions try to distract you and your purpose pulls you through. The new version of you is on the other side of your resistance. You must also transform the environment that shapes your thinking. You cannot think like a champion while living in a circle of complainers. You cannot think like a leader while surrounding yourself with people who fear risk. You cannot think big while listening to voices that think small. Your environment must align with your vision. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, not those who limit you. Feed your mind with content that uplifts, not content that drains. Spend time in spaces that inspire you to rise. Your mind is too valuable to allow toxic influences to shape it. Another key to transforming your thinking is rewiring how you interpret challenges. Most people see obstacles as signs to stop, but growth-minded individuals see obstacles as signs to stretch. Every challenge is a teacher. Every setback is feedback. Every failure is data that moves you closer to success. Your thinking must shift from, why is this happening to me? To, what is this teaching me? From, this is too hard, to, this is helping me get stronger. From, I can't do this, to, I'm learning how to do this. This shift is powerful. It turns victims into warriors, confusion into clarity, and challenges into opportunities. When your thinking transforms, your entire identity transforms. A transformed mind sees possibilities where others see limits. It sees purpose in pain. It sees growth in discomfort. It sees opportunity in uncertainty, and that mindset becomes unstoppable. Remember this, your thinking creates your reality. A weak mind creates a weak life. A disciplined mind creates a powerful life. A grateful mind creates a peaceful life. A focused mind creates a meaningful life. Transformation is not a moment, it is a process. It requires patience, awareness, discipline, and repetition. But the reward is life-changing, because once your thinking transforms, everything around you aligns with that transformation. Your habits change, your decisions change, your relationships change, your energy changes, your future changes. Transform your thinking and your life will rise to match it. Transform your thinking and your dreams will feel reachable. Transform your thinking and nothing will be able to stop you. Your mind is the greatest tool you will ever own. Sharpen it, strengthen it, and elevate it, because the moment your thinking changes, your entire reality shifts in ways you never imagined. Rise above the noise. Build a mind that refuses to break. In this final pillar of mastering your mind, we step into the arena where the battle is no longer between you and the world, but between you and the noise inside you. Fear, doubt, overthinking, the whispers of past failures, the pressure of expectations, the weight of comparison, the echo of negativity. This is the battlefield where most people give up, not because they are weak, but because they never learned how strong they truly are. And today, this chapter is about rising above that noise and building a mindset that doesn't crumble, doesn't fold, doesn't apologize for wanting a better life, and doesn't retreat when the journey gets lonely. This is the chapter where you decide that your mind is no longer your prison, it becomes your power. Life will always make noise, people will talk, circumstances will shake you, challenges will test you, your past will try to hold you, your fears will try to guide you. But the truth is simple. You cannot control the noise, but you can master the volume. That is the foundation of mental strength, learning not to silence the world, but to stop letting the world silence you. Every strong mind is built through resistance. Diamonds are made under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. Champions are created in adversity. So why do we run from pressure? Why do we collapse at discomfort? Why do we surrender to every negative thought without realizing that those thoughts aren't commands, they are tests? Every "you can't" that comes into your mind is not a truth. It's an invitation for you to prove that you can. Every moment of doubt is a doorway asking you to step through with courage. Every failure is not a stop sign, it's a sign pointing you to a better route. When you rise above the noise, you no longer listen to the world as a critic, you listen to your life as a teacher. Building a mind that refuses to break requires discipline. Discipline in what you feed your mind, what you accept, what you tolerate, and what you allow to live inside you. If you feed your mind negativity, it will grow weeds. If you feed it purpose, it will grow gardens. People protect their phones, their cars, their houses, but never their mind. They let anyone speak into it, let social media dictate their worth, let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. But a strong mind is guarded. A strong mind is intentional. A strong mind knows the difference between what is true and what is just loud. So how do you build that unbreakable mindset? You start by controlling your inner dialogue. The most dangerous conversations are the ones you have with yourself when no one is watching. You either talk yourself into greatness or into giving up. Every day you have a choice. Speak life or speak limits. Tell yourself what you need to hear, not what your fear wants you to believe. You are not weak for being afraid. You are only weak when you let fear become your identity. When your mind starts whispering negativity, don't argue with it, overpower it. Replace the whisper of doubt with the roar of purpose. Replace "I can't" with "watch me." Replace "I'm not enough" with "I'm becoming more every day." Your mind believes the words you repeat the most, so be very careful which voice you give the microphone to. Next, you must learn to stay calm in the storm. Strength isn't loud, it's controlled. A strong mind doesn't panic when life gets hard. It adapts, it observes, it breathes, it recalibrates. Reacting emotionally is how you lose control. Responding with clarity is how you take it back. Emotional discipline is the difference between breaking and bending. The storm isn't your enemy, it's your trainer. Let it teach you endurance, patience, resilience, and vision. Calm minds build strong futures. Another pillar of rising above the noise is protecting your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not every opinion deserves a reaction. Not every insult deserves your attention. Too many people allow toxic voices into their thoughts and wonder why their life feels heavy. You cannot build a strong mind around weak people. You cannot grow around those who shrink you. You cannot stay focused around those who thrive on distractions. A strong mind sets boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect the journey. Remember this: your peace is expensive. Stop giving it away for free. Also, you must let go of perfection. Perfection is the loudest lie your mind tells you. It convinces you that you are not ready, not worthy, not capable until everything is perfect. But nothing great comes from perfection. It comes from progress. You become strong through trying, failing, learning, and rising. When you let go of perfection, you silence the harshest critic in your life, yourself. Perfection wants you stuck. Growth wants you moving. Choose movement. Finally, to rise above the noise, you need a mission. A mind without purpose gets lost in distractions. A mind with purpose becomes unstoppable. When you know your why, the how becomes easier. When your purpose is clear, the noise becomes irrelevant. When you are driven by something greater than fear, greater than opinions, greater than doubt, you rise without needing permission. Purpose anchors you, purpose focuses you, purpose strengthens you. A strong mind isn't about being fearless. It's about directing your fear towards something meaningful. It's about choosing growth over comfort, choosing discipline over impulse, choosing truth over noise, choosing vision over doubt. So today, decide that your mind belongs to you, not to your past, not to your pain, not to the noise, not to the doubt, not to the world. Build the mindset that refuses to break. Build the mindset that rises no matter what tries to pull it down. Build the mindset that turns obstacles into stepping stones and pressure into power. Rise above the noise because the world is loud, but your purpose should be louder.